Jiva here, coming at you with Rage Gaming. So I'm just going to go over the last live stream, which was today, and go over a little bit what they were talking about. I did watch the video off from Mesa Sean, so I will be leaving a link in the description box if you want to go watch it yourself. But the first thing they start off with is basically showing a trailer for the live stream about the expansion 2, or expansion 1 that is coming out on Destiny 2. And what they say is infinite realities to explore and all the time in the world, which is the quote from the actual trailer. And the first thing that DJ likes to talk about is that he noted that normally they would jump right into a live fire team to show us this live public event, but because of the fact that they do spawn randomly just like they do in the current Destiny 2 that we have, they recorded it just to show us the gameplay so that they didn't have to sit around waiting around and making up stuff to talk about. So they did show some recorded gameplay, but like I said, the video is linked to the video that I watched, so if you want to go watch what they were actually talking about, Mesa Sean had the okay to live stream, basically post the live streaming of everything that happened. The new public event, they called it the Spoke, and it is for Mercury. I'm not sure if it's going to be a Mercury exclusive or if we're going to have other public events similar to it, but basically they call it like a Vex Circus, which is their words. It's basically a custom space. It transitions and changes as you play it, and opens up a part of the map that you cannot do anywhere else but in the public event. And basically you're going to be teleporting back and forth between a couple of islands and completing this public event. And like I said, this is a public event exclusive map, so that's what I'm kind of wondering, is if they're going to implement any other things in the other planets with this virtual reality type of public event. But basically you're going to have the Vex mines, which are the gate lords, and you're going to kill them to collect keys. This is a new public event mode. This one is not currently in the game. And you collect the keys, you dunk the keys to take down its shield, kind of like the one strike where you're putting the arc ball into the corners for the Cabal. And basically, like they said, they're sticking to a specific theme of virtual reality type of stuff. And they also quoted that this would be the most rewarding public event you'll ever play, and this is because it drops 2 loot chests instead of just 1 when you make it heroic. I was unable to see how they made it heroic because they do not want to reveal it yet. They kind of want you to figure it out on your own how to make it heroic, so I'm definitely intrigued to see how that is going to be heroic. Don't mind the gameplay, this is all old gameplay. I just wanted to kind of get this video out as quick as possible for you guys. But basically what they were trying to avoid was having one focal point where everyone shoots at one thing. Like if you notice that with any of the public events, there's just one thing to aim for, and this is what they tried to do, was kind of make you go all over the map in their little public event map area, so that you're not sticking to one thing, one place. And they did say that this thing is so epic that you can actually see it from the lighthouse that a public event is going on. Another thing they talked about, which has been spoken about previously, is that Spicy Ramen is leaving Season 2, so this is the last 2 weeks are the only chance you have to get it. So literally 2 weeks away, we'll be getting the first expansion of Destiny 1. Or Destiny 2, excuse me. Wow, I am so out of it today. But then they went on to talk about a little bit of the endgame reward system and some changes to the Lighthouse. There is now a warp gate, a forging area to make Vex weapons, and there's a Vex weapon wall to where you can see like which weapons you can get, basically all the little quests. So it has changed a little bit since the Destiny 1 Lighthouse. And there's also a mystery to solve in the Lighthouse itself. I'm not sure if that means scannables or like a secret area to explore or something, but that's definitely going to be something interesting to go find out. And another new thing is Vance. Vance is going to have regular missions and heroic missions, and they're to gain weapons. They're like a weapon quest. Basically, you're also going to be able to collect Mercury tokens on Mercury, and he will just be like every other vendor, like Ashmir and everyone like that. And they said that there's going to be new adventures. There'll be, like, basically you're going to go to Vance, and Vance is going to tell you how to explore Mercury and different ways to do it. Basically, it's going to give you, like, a mission, like, oh, this is what you need to do. There's also this thing you can collect for your weapon, what am I trying to say, the weapon quest. There's these different types of materials you have to collect to basically forge this weapon. And they said that it's stuff that you would already normally do. So if you play Crucible, you can get them from Crucible. If you do Strikes, you can get them from Strikes. It's just kind of like, as they said, an additive incentive to get you to do what you already do, and keep you involved in the game. So then that way you're not stuck with like, oh, I hate Crucible, like I don't really want this gun because I don't do Crucible. Well, this is the opportunity to where if you don't do Crucible and you're someone that prefers Strikes, you can do Strikes. I'm not really sure if it's going to include public events or patrol missions or anything like that. It was confirmed though that it will include Strikes and Crucible. They also said that there's going to be modifiers on the quest, which that's very interesting because at this point I don't really see any modifiers. I'm wondering if it's going to be like a Nightfall type of modifier where you have to use specific weapons or you're timed or something like that. And it is random, like this, the whole point of the thing is the theme is having random spawning stuff that like kind of like goes together because of the virtual reality that the Vex is creating for us. But basically you're going to get these what they call verses, and those are like the missions of the lost prophecies. And there's 11 verses total, which match up with the amount of weapons that you can get off the forge or Vex forge wall. And each one's going to give you a different weapon. You're not going to end up with the same weapon. I'm hoping so. That's from what I'm understanding. So it's kind of like the meet a multi-tool, like you can do the quest and get the meet a multi-tool. I'm kind of wondering if you can do it more than once on one character, or is it a one done thing? Because if that's the case, then the forging the weapons definitely is not going to last for a person like me that really grinds in the Crucible, or not the Crucible, the game in general. So, you know, I take a lot of time, a little bit of time that I do have available, I do spend a lot of it on Destiny. And basically, like, that's why my characters are 304 and 305. It's because I do spend the time getting the stuff. I mean, I know a lot of people are most likely 304 and 305 at this point, but there is still a decent portion of Destiny 2 players that are not. And that's why I feel like if this is a one-time done thing, then the forging is going to be basically done within the 1 or 2 months into expansion 1 for me, which that would be definitely something you're taking away from the game if I can't redo it a couple of times to earn like reputation or something, or maybe a higher drop on the weapon. But basically you're going to pick up the quest from Vance, and he's going to have 3 of them. There are 11 verses. There'll be 3 random verses that you can pick up. And the details, if you pick up the quest and then hit the triangle to show the details, it's going to tell you how to do it and what to collect. And it's actually going to give you a little picture to show you what it is too, which that helps a lot with the new confusing game and everything with new stuff. It's like, oh, what is that? I'm not sure. Well, this is going to show you what it is. And like I said before, it was an added incentive to what you already do. Once you are done with collecting the stuff that you need, you're going to give it back to Vance, and he's going to give you the next part of it where you're going to forge the weapons. You will then go over to the forge machine and make the weapon. And actually other people, they said that other people can see you doing this. So if you're in the social space and other people are there too, they're going to be able to see other people forging these weapons. And the weapon that Deej ended up forming was the Jack Queen King 3. It's a hand cannon. And for him, it dropped at 302. I'm unfamiliar with what light level he is, so I don't know if it's going to drop higher or lower for me in particular, because I am at 305. Currently, most of my weapons drop from anywhere from 298 to 300. So that'll definitely be interesting to see. One thing that Mesa Sean did point out is it does have a 3 perk slot on it. And basically what they were trying to explain is that like Osiris didn't have the opportunity to get the weapons that we have, so he took a lot of the technology that we have to make weapons and kind of forged them out of Vex weapons. So it's a mix of Vex technology and our technology to make these weapons. And this is what's all about, what the DLC is about, and we're going to be able to get all of these new weapons that were basically Vex forged weapons. Another thing Bungie goes on to talk about is the fact that we are getting 2 new strikes, and they said they're going to make them into story missions. They're going to be like a little bit easier, a little bit more of a one-on-one type of thing where it's you against the enemies. You will be able to complete them, but both of these strikes will be part of the story campaign. And then later on, once the campaign is completed, they'll step up the little bit of hardness to it and implement some of the things they might have took out to make them into strikes on your playlist. And since the Heroic Strike playlist is back, those will also be in the Heroic Strike playlist. But basically they did this to kind of like, they said that each strike has its own little mission, and they kind of wanted to, they have like a little story to tell and everything. They wanted to like implement a couple of those stories into the actual mainline story so that it's not like so far out. Like, I know my favorite is Sabathun's song right now, and based on the story that I've already went through, there wasn't really much on any of that to do with who Sabathun is and what's her song and all this stuff, but it is definitely one of my favorite strikes. And then it's kind of a decent idea that they were able to implement that into the story to kind of explain why we're going against these people, who these people are, like give a little bit more in-depth detail and something to challenge you. Deej did bring up the point that he wanted to know if it was going to make you feel like you were deprived of 2 story missions type of thing, and they clarified that you were not going to be missing out on any content, that it was just going to feel just as fulfilling as if there was actual mission or story missions there that were not related to strikes. So I'm really hoping that is the case, and like I said, I will be playing it on December 5th if my husband is not playing it. And so I will be able to give you the opportunity of a little insight of some of the story campaign. I'm really hoping I can record all of it and hopefully get it done on at least one character within the first week. I am being very optimistic. Like I said, I don't have a lot of time on my hands, especially this week in general, and they also said that this week at Bungie is going to be dropped on Wednesday, so it'll be most likely Wednesday night for me, so I will be trying to get it up either Wednesday or Thursday morning, because, you know, I do have Thanksgiving myself, but like they said, not everyone celebrates that, but the majority of them do, so they wanted to give people a little bit of a break on Thursday. I am planning to still play it, though. I do have PlayStation Plus again, so I will be able to start doing some weapon reviews. I'm hoping to do a lot in the next 2 weeks, because I want to clean out my inventory of the weapons I don't want so that I can have some space for Season 2. The only exotic I have not gotten yet is Borealis, which is kind of disappointing. I'm kind of hoping the weapon ornaments stay too when they change seasons, because I am missing a couple of them. I know I'm definitely missing Red Dwarf, but other than that, I'm not really sure. But let's see what else they talked about. They went over and talked about a little bit of the Infinite Forest as well, and basically, like I said, the whole theme is a changing surrounding, virtual reality, giving you a different thing. They explained it as they're like Legos that fit together. The way they were trying to explain it was a little bit confusing, but I kind of got what they meant, was that it's a bunch of Lego pieces that they stack together in different order each time to create a picture, and that way it can give you a different experience each time. Like, each one is its own little Lego, so it's not like it's different piece apart pieces. Like, it's not going to make sense. It will make sense once it's all put together, because these are actual like scenes stacked on top of each other. And then they went on to, well, they also showed us a little bit of the Vex AI, which they refer to as demons, and they said you have to find the demons to unlock the gate, and you have to kill them and everything. And they said this was like Taken, I believe, or Fallen or something. Like, it was one of the other enemies from Destiny 2 that was basically possessed by the Vex. And they said that there's obviously the past, the present, and the future, as well as the normal present right now, which would be the public events and everything. But you'll see other versions of the present, as well as you can see parts of the Infinite Forest. But what they showed you was they showed live gameplay of the Dark Forest itself, and everything is so dark, the sun is dead, and this is basically showing what the world would look like if the Vex win. And basically they were going to kill off absolutely everything. But other than that, that's pretty much all I have to talk about. I will be uploading a video of the chest that I did find today. The last one gave me a little bit of a hard time, so I actually had to pause it and go look and see how someone else was managing to climb up and get the chest. But basically, that's all I have for you today, and I'll see you later.